The first telling of the dragons Vermithor and Silverwing was when their eggs were placed inside the cradles of Alyssane and Jaehaerys Targaryen. Once hatched, Silverwing was found to be a dragon of silver and Vermithor, a dragon of bronze. The exact year of their births is lost to the histories, but Meisters believe it was between 36 to 42 AC. In 42 AC, King Aenys I passed away. Vermithor and Silverwing aided their flames to the funeral pyre. Between the years of 44 and 48 AC, Alyssane and Jaehaerys resided on the Targaryen stronghold of Dragonstone, along with Vermithor and Silverwing. Within those years, Vermithor and Silverwing became friendly with their respective riders, Jaehaerys and Alyssane. In this time, Vermithor and Silverwing had grown closer than any other two dragons. They often slept and ate together. By the year 48 AC, Silverwing and Vermithor accepted Alyssane and Jaehaerys as their riders. In 49 AC, Jaehaerys and Alyssane flew to King's Landing, staking their claim to the Iron Throne. During the long reign of Jaehaerys I, Vermithor and Silverwing were used to carry the king and his queen to many castles and towns within the realm. Jaehaerys and Alyssane held many audiences with great lords to determine any problems or brewing situations in the realm. In 54 AC, Alyssane flew Silverwing to Old Town to attend the funeral of the High Septon. Silverwing landed atop the high tower of Old Town and fanned the flames, making the townsfolk gasp in amazement. Later in the same year, Vermithor and Silverwing flew to Storm's End. This trip was due to the unlikely situation of Jaehaerys and Alyssane's mother, Alyssa. Alyssa had been giving birth to her child and was starting to die due to the strain of childbirth. Jaehaerys and Alyssane were able to be with their mother in her final moments. After this event, Alyssane flew to Dragonstone to comfort her sister, Rhaena. At the end of the year, 54 AC, Rhaena flew her dragon Dreamfire to King's Landing to be with her family. Silverwing and Vermithor roared at the descending Dreamfire. Many common people believed that the three dragons were about to fight at this moment. In 56 AC, Alyssane flew to the north and visited the castles of White Harbour and Winterfell. Jaehaerys had planned to join her, but his duties as king made it difficult. At Winterfell, the Lord refused to allow Silverwing inside his walls. Many had heard of the tale of Haeren the Black and the burning of Harrenhal. Alyssane's charm convinced the Lord to approach Silverwing, who was fond of people at this point. Alyssane grew tired of waiting for Jaehaerys to accompany her, so she ventured more north. She stopped at Last Hearth and a few smaller towns before making her way to the Wall. Once at the Wall, Silverwing amazed the men of the Night's Watch by her beautiful scales and her friendliness towards strangers. Alyssane longed to fly Silverwing over the Wall, but Silverwing refused her master 3 times. Alyssane wrote to Jaehaerys informing him of Silverwing's refusal. Jaehaerys mounted Vermithor and took him to Winterfell. It was there where he finally had reunited with his wife, Alyssane. From Winterfell, Vermithor and Silverwing took them to Torrhen's Square, Barrowton, and back to King's Landing, where the two dragons would rest for years inside the Red Keep itself. As King Jaehaerys and Queen Alyssane ruled the realm in peace, their dragons remained symbols of their Targaryen power. The common folk of King's Landing grew attached to the sight of the two flying over the capital. Vermithor and Silverwing's bond grew closer as they waited to be mounted yet again. In 82 AC, Alyssane mounted her and went to the Eyrie. She flew to aid her daughter, who was giving birth at the time. In 83 AC, the Dornish made a bold move and attempted to invade the Stormlands by water. This would prove to be enough to make Jaehaerys take action. He mounted Vermithor and flew from King's Landing to the Dornish fleet. The fleet stood no chance for the Bronze Fury, as the invasion was thwarted with this one battle. This was the last battle Vermithor would fight for many years. In 92 AC, Jaehaerys and Alyssane disputed the line of succession. After this dispute, Alyssane mounted Silverwing and headed to Dragonstone. There she remained for the better part of 2 years. Alyssane, now almost 60 years old, rode Silverwing for the last time. It is said she wept as she climbed down the dragon's back. In 94 AC, Jaehaerys and Alyssane reconciled with the help of their daughter, Miguel. When 100 AC came around, Jaehaerys had found his wife had passed away from an illness. Alyssane lived for 64 years. Silverwing and Vermithor helped light her funeral pyre. The death of Alyssane broke Jaehaerys as he lived the last 3 years of his life as a shell of a man. In 103 AC, Jaehaerys passed away in the Red Keep. Again, Silverwing and Vermithor aided in the burning of the funeral pyre. With both dragon riders dead, Vermithor and Silverwing made their way back to their birth home, Dragonstone. On the Targaryen stronghold, they made their lair inside a cavern of the Dragonmont, a large volcano on the island of Dragonstone. Here they would reside for almost 30 years. The year is now 129 AC. The realm is divided by support for Aegon II and Rhaenyra Targaryen. At the time, Rhaenyra is in desperate need of dragon riders. Many people came forth to try their hand at taming one of the Targaryen dragons. Eventually, Vermithor emerged and bent his neck to a blacksmith named Hugh Hammer. Shortly after Vermithor was claimed, Silverwing bent her neck for a man named Ulf White. With Vermithor and Silverwing reclaimed, Rhaenyra sent them, alongside Sheepstealer, Vermax, and Seasmoke, to destroy the incoming fleet from the Triarchy. The Triarchy was promised gold to aid in the support of Aegon II's claim to the throne. On the 5th day of the year, 130 AC, the Triarchy ships emerged and began to attack Rhaenyra's fleet at sunrise. Even with the might of 5 dragon riders, the Triarchy proved challenging. The dragon Vermax was killed during the battle and sank into the ocean. Vermithor and Silverwing ended the battle with no visible injuries. After this battle, Hugh and Ulf were assigned to the defence of Tumbleton. They flew the 2 dragons to Tumbleton and helped Rhaenyra's forces protect the city. When Aegon's forces arrived at Tumbleton, Tessarion, the Blue Queen, was with them. Tessarion was the dragon of Prince Daeron Targaryen and was said to have bright blue scales. When the defenders of Tumbleton saw Tessarion approaching, they did not worry. They knew Vermithor and Silverwing were ready to kill Tessarion at any moment. What the defenders did not know was that Hugh Hammer and Ulf White had made a deal with Prince Daeron. The once famed Vermithor and Silverwing now burned the city they were sent to defend. Tessarion joined the two as Tumbleton was burned to the ground. Hugh and Ulf celebrated with Aegon's forces after the battle as Vermithor and Silverwing rested in a field nearby. A few days after the first Battle of Tumbleton, the second was on the horizon. In the middle of the night, Seasmoke, mounted by Adam Velaryon, led 4,000 men against the camped besiegers of Aegon's forces. Ulf White slept through the ensuing battle and was not able to mount Silverwing. Hugh Hammer rushed to where Vermithor lay asleep in the field. Before he could reach Vermithor, Hugh was stabbed by Aegon's own men. Some of Adam's army was sent to try and kill the sleeping dragons in the field. This ended horribly for the men, as Vermithor awoke and killed many knights in an instant. Silverwing also woke up and took flight, circling the battlefield for hours. Vermithor took flight shortly after and was attacked by Seasmoke immediately. The 2 dragons wrestled in the air, neither could break free from the other. Vermithor nearly killed Seasmoke if it had not been for Tessarion. Tessarion, riderless, attacked Vermithor as the 3 fought till the end. In the end, Vermithor locked his teeth into Seasmoke's neck, ending him. Vermithor attempted to leave with Seasmoke's head still in his mouth, but as soon as he tried to fly, he collapsed and died. Tessarion attempted to fly, but was unable to get off the ground after 3 attempts. Aegon's forces put her out of her misery. Hours after the battle, Silverwing returned and landed beside Vermithor. She tried 3 times to lift his wing, but to no avail. Silverwing left the battlefield and made her lair on a small island in Red Lake. She was reported as being seen up until the year 153 AC.